I'm Daniel.
And I'm Omar.
And you're watching The Hub. So today we want to go over a topic today that's pretty big and a lot of people are curious about this. And that's why does it seem like boxers are getting paid so much more than UFC people? Like, you guys have seen it before. And you've seen it just like the other day. The guy that just won the UFC championship, he got $400,000. And Canelo got $35 million. All for doing, the same time of work. So have you guys ever wondered that?
And at the same time, it's crazy because you sit back and you look how dangerous, how much more dangerous MMA is and potentially can be than boxing. And I understand boxing is, one thing we're going to talk about. Boxing's been around for a while, so they have more support, and but going off of the injury aspect, boxers get more head trauma because it's solely the body head they worry about. But as far as MMA concern is, you have more things to be concerned with.
Like Jiu Jitsu.
You have to worry about grappling, submission, knees, elbows, kicks, notches.
Everything's coming at you at once.
So I really feel like our MMA fighters are being underpaid for the dangers
I agree.
that they have to go through. Even though, boxing's been around for a while, you don't have to deal with the same stuff that these guys deal with. Sure, we might not have to deal with, or I'm not we, but MMA fighters may not have to deal with the head trauma as bad, but torn ligaments, broken bones.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to worry about a shin break in boxing.
Exactly.
You don't got to worry about, your neck or something getting pulled, through a choke. I mean, there's certain things that you are lucky not to deal with.
Yes. Seriously. We both know, because I did boxing for years, and now I do Jiu Jitsu, and Omar's experience in Jiu Jitsu and MMA and Muay Thai. So we've been on both sides of both realms, and it's just kind of unbelievable to see the difference, that these guys are getting paid for the same hour of time. They both go to fight camp, they both get ready before the fight, and you're talking about $400,000 for a championship in UFC. You have your Conor McGregor's. Alistair Overeem made $850,000 his last fight. Conor could get maybe up to $7 to $15 million on a very, very high note. That's Conor McGregor. He sells himself. He's just a different kind of guy. So, he's sort of getting the spotlight. But
real quick, did even John Bones Jones make that much money? And
I don't know.
Is Alistair versus Alex Gustafsson fight too?
I don't think he made that much.
Wow, dude. And he's like one of the biggest champs in the game, dude. Him and Silver were like the top two. Yeah. And John Jones is still up there. There's no one that's ever really knocked him off his throne besides himself.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's beat him besides him.
Just like, that's kind of like how it was with Mike Tyson.
Exactly the same thing, just about,
But look at even way back then, like when Tyson was fighting, they were getting, for those time periods, Mike Tyson made like $100 million in his career.
Dude.
You know what I mean? And lost it all, and now he's making money again, changed the guy, but it's just kind of crazy to see the massive difference between the two. It's really absurd.
And it's, now I think about it, there was a video that came out 5 or 6 years ago by Wanderlei Silva. I might have said that name. Wanderlei Silva. He made a video about. I won't even go as far as say, I guess, the shame of losing in the octagon, like how hard they are on fighters and how little they get paid. He made a video about that a long time ago. Yeah, a long time ago. It actually happened when I started going to high altitude and started training under UFC vet Cody Donovan. I started training under him at his school, and this is when this video was brought out. And even he said at the time, let's see if we can get a video with them also, about how much it hurts. How much he said that he felt like a lot of fighters felt that pain of being underpaid for the high risk sport that they're in. And what sucks also is that because people are so underpaid, it kind of, if anything, it pushes people away. Because even like for me, who's someone wanted to be in the UFC, I'm like, for making money like that, like, why would I want to?
That kind of brings us to our next point. Because boxing actually, the average fighter gets paid less than the average fighter in the UFC on average. The average UFC fighter is $138,000. Average in boxing is $50,000.
Interesting.
But the thing is because of these huge companies like HBO, Showtime, that they've had their pockets in there with each other for, decades, and the UFC is really pretty new essentially compared to boxing. Just the massive sheer difference is crazy when it comes to the jackpots of these fights. You know, Floyd Mayweather's making $100 million for a fight. You can last a lot longer in boxing physically because you're not taking as much of a beating, you're not getting your bones broken and all these different things as much. And a lot of these, there's so many different things that can cause you to lose in the UFC. You can get choked out and there goes, you have a loss in your record now. You're way more likely to have a 50-0 record in boxing than you are in the UFC. You know what I mean?
Dude, and because you don't have to worry about career-ending injuries in boxing.
Not as much, at least.
Yeah, not as much. I mean, it is. I feel like
Kim got killed in the ring.
Yeah, but at the same time, isn't that his corner's fault for not throwing in the towel?
Yes.
So you know, there's different aspects to that, but and that's why like in the MMA game, it's dangerous but more safe at the same time. That's why fighters don't get knocked down and pummeled for a bit. And then give them like 8 counts to get back up and try it again, because if that happens again, someone's gonna end up being seriously hurt.
Yep.
And boxing doesn't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about an elbow grazing your eye and calling it a day for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about those kind of things. You don't got to worry about a knee hitting the chin and now your chin's busted and broken and jaw and broken and stuff. Now you got a metal jaw and now you can't compete no more. You don't have to worry about those kind of things. Yeah, boxers can develop that kind of power through the gloves and fists, but how often has that happened?
Yeah. What they need to do in the UFC is start giving these guys more limelight in their early fighting times, and really start putting more limelight on them earlier in their career. And that can start bringing in cash flow for them as well. They're not promoting it like they should. And you're getting guys that come in that you've never heard of that have a record of 37 and 18. So where did this guy come from? You know what I mean? So there's a few things that they need to do in order to really get the sport watched and get more watch time from it. And I think part of that is building more relationships with the fighters from start to finish, and not bring people out of nowhere. Follow people from a young age and create champions and build the names more, because you're just like, oh, such and such is fighting again on the UFC. It's rare that you have big names like Conor McGregor and Overeem and Anderson Silva. And which brings me up to my next point about Michelle Watterson. Shout out to Colorado. She's amazing.
She is dope. Yes, she is.
Somebody to look out for. You guys better watch out.
Didn't she had a fight not too long ago too?
Yeah, she whooped that ass too.
Yeah, man. What makes her cool is how diverse she is. She's like super diverse as far as even business wise. Not really martial arts wise. Well, I mean, yes, that too. But like as far as like not just being a competitor. Like she's done YouTube videos, some goofy stuff with this guy named Master Ken. Like she did goofy stuff with this guy about the whole axe kick thing. She's been on a couple of like training videos with a couple other like YouTube followers. Like so she is kind of like in a sense like kind of entrepreneur to her martial arts.
And a mother. She's a follower on Instagram, Karate Hottie Mama. She's somebody good to follow for sure.
Yeah. She has a lot of good knowledge, a lot of good wisdom.
Which is actually, speaking of good things, that's we're gonna talk about in our next video, about the good things and the positive things that come out of doing boxing and
martial arts,
Jiu Jitsu, all that stuff. There's so many great things that can really change your life, not just learning the fighting aspect of it.
Yep, and just learning the whole philosophy and lifestyle aspect of it primarily. The fighting is second. It's like this fighting part is surface level, but there's so much stuff underneath the iceberg that you don't even know unless you walk the path.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that next time.
Dan.
And I'm Omar,
and you're watching The Hub.